Good morning. Good morning. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Brittany. I am starting a vlog about my VSG and weight loss journey. I decided to get VSG surgery. I really started looking into it last year. I don't think I really started taking it serious until this year, which is 2020. I initially had my first appointment towards the end of January. I believe it was like the 28th is when I first had my first appointment. I actually went straight through the surgeon. I did not get a recommendation from my doctor. I actually had a friend girl who got a lap band, and she gave me her surgeon's information. And I initially was thinking about doing a lap band, but after research, I just decided that the complications and that people were saying they continue to, vomit and because of the lap band, and a lot of people were having revisions. So I just kept researching, and then I just decided that it would be better for me to get the VSG surgery. So I called the surgeon, set up a consultation. His name was Carl Lowe. Great doctor. Staff. Wasn't really impressed. I'm not gonna, really go into detail about it, but I just felt like all in all there was some concern. When you're having any kind of surgery, and that this is going to be something that's going to change your life, and so you just want to feel like a priority, and you want to trust that everything is going to be taken care of. And I just had to do a lot of circling back, following up, making sure you're doing your job. And so that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. But the surgeon himself, he was great as soon as I met him. So again, I met him in January of 2020 on the 28th. I believe it was 28th or the 21st. And they ran my insurance. He talked to me a little bit in the session, just explaining, what VSG surgery was. He did agree with me and recommend that was the best surgery for me. At that first consultation, I weighed 300 pounds. That is my highest weight. I have never, no, I think it was 307 was my highest weight before, but I had already lost 7 pounds when I went, so I weighed in at 300. That's been my second highest weight. And then they, the coordinator came in. I gave my insurance information. She gave me a checklist of the things that I needed to complete. It turns out for my health insurance, I had Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. And because of that, I didn't have a weight management or a weight management portion. What that means is that for certain insurance companies, they have, you need to, be showing that you are actively working towards losing weight for X amount of time. Sometimes it can be 3 months, 6 months. I've heard of some people it even being a year. Luckily for me, I didn't have a weight management period that I had to adhere to before surgery. I just had the checklist. So once I got the checklist consisted of a psych eval. I had to have some blood work done. I had to have my post-op appointment done. I had to meet with the dietitian. And I think she was a dietitian and like a fitness and wellness person. I had to meet with her 2 or 3 times for her to sign off. All of that took place. I think I was done probably with everything by the middle of March. So after that, my insurance finally got everything approved, and I had a surgery date for March 28th of 2020. Well, then COVID-19 happened. And so 3 days before my surgery, I think it was that Friday before my surgery was on the 28th, which I believe would have been probably, let me see, just checking my calendar. I want to make sure I'm giving you the right information. So my surgery was actually March. So March, okay, so it was the 25th. So the 20th is when they called and told me that due to the COVID-19, they were shutting down all surgeries. So I had already been into the liquid diet. I can't say I was surprised, because my significant other worked in the medical field, and he was saying that although he doesn't work in the same company, I guess you can say, as where I was having my surgery, I knew it was a possibility. I was devastated. I was pissed. I was like, oh my gosh, we're almost there. But I couldn't, there was nothing I could do. At that point, I had already went to my pre-op appointment. They had already, we already pretty much were in motion. I got all of my information from billing for the surgery. At that point, I weighed 293. So I had lost a little bit of weight, but not that much. And when it shut down, I had to wait. And so during the quarantine, it was extremely difficult. I did gain some of the weight back. And now, as of today, 5/20 of 2020, I would say about a week or so ago, with the state opening back up, the hospital or the facility called me, and they said that I have a VSG date of 6/3 of 2020. So I'm so excited. As the date approaches more, I am concerned. And it's just because I've never had a huge kind of surgery. As far as pain, I don't know what to expect. I mean, I've watched video after video. I have done so much research, but I just don't feel like anything is going to prepare me. Because although people can share their story or what their opinion is, I don't really know what my experience will be yet. And so it's hard for me to take that and accept that and go in it with that mind frame, because so many people have had various experiences from my research. And so I am just kind of concerned. But it's not a concern enough for me to not go through with the surgery. I do think that I've struggled with my weight my whole life. But the problem was that all through my life, because of the way I carried my weight, it's very evenly distributed. So it wasn't really I'm not going to say it wasn't an issue, because I was obese when I go to the doctor and when I would have conversations, you're always considered obese, but in society, I was considered thick. That's for another conversation. But it started to get to a point where my even proportions was uneven after a while. And that's where we're kind of at now. And I don't want to continue to go further. I'm 27. I don't have any kids. I just want to be healthy. And I feel like one of the major problems that I have has been overeating. And that was something that I started really young. I grew up very interesting. That's a story time for another time. And I feel like I used food as comfort, but I didn't know that I was. I remember sitting in the doctor's appointment, like my first consultation, and they give you all these questions. And I'm sitting beside my mom, and one of the questions is, are you an emotional eater? And I remember thinking to myself, no, I'm not an emotional eater. And I looked over to my mom, and my mom was like, yes, you are. She was like, when you are upset or when you're, sad or what, and it just brought a new revelation to me because what I thought emotional eating is, oh my gosh, when you watch My 600-Pound Life, and I'm sorry for the camera shaking, but when you watch My 600-Pound Life, you see how those people certain people have a relationship with food. Like, oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. And so that's what I equated to be an emotional eater, or to have that same kind of response. And my response wasn't like that. And so what I, started to learn then is that not all emotional eating looks the same, but it is what you're doing. So I really had to kind of like analyze my triggers, or what are things that make me eat, or and when I started to do that, it started to further confirm what my mom had said. And I say all that to say, I know that the gastric sleeve is not an end-all be-all. It is not the switch that's going to change your life, but it is a tool. And I feel like that the VSG will stop me from overeating. And now I have done things like keto, things of that nature. So I'm familiar with how to eat different alternatives healthier. So I am very excited for the road ahead. I know that there are going to be nights, days, weeks where I am frustrated. I'm upset. I may even resent the choice that I made, but I know in the long run that it's going to be well worth it. And I would like you all to follow along with me and see my journey, and give me some tips or some feedback. I'm going to be raw. I'm going to be honest. As you can see, there is no filters. There's no editing, nothing. I want to just share my truth, and whatever that looks like is what it looks like. The good, the bad, the ugly, the frustrating, the crying. My goal isn't to try to do anything but just share what my experience is going to look like. Like I said, I'm scared as the day gets closer and closer and closer. The surgery part scares me. But I think a lot of things in life scared me until I did them. So, but yeah, my name is Brittany, and I would be glad for y'all to kind of follow my journey. Give me some tips. If I'm doing something wrong, or not even wrong, but if there's a better way to do something, or if you all can share your VSG surgery journey stories with me, or we can kind of be able to lean on each other, because sometimes people don't really fully understand something unless they go through it. And I feel like sometimes maybe the people that have gone through VSG would be able to shed some light. I also want to address that on my channel there will not be any negativity. I understand that everybody has an opinion. That is great. Let me preference here. If you are starting to follow me, and you are wanting to say, oh, you shouldn't get the surgery. Oh, this is not a good idea. Oh, why didn't you just work out? I have worked out. I have tried a lot of different things before this. And again, I will continue to work out. I am going to implement healthier choices as I have before. The reason I'm getting VSG is portion control. So now that I have addressed that, anybody's opinion who is coming that way, I will probably block you or ignore you because I've already addressed it at this point. And it's my life. It's my decision. So again, my name is Brittany. Follow me if you like.